APT Jamie here, and today we're going to make a moving layer on top of another layer. Well, you'll see. You probably seen this thumbnail, so you know. I always give myself away with that thumbnail of mine. So this video, I was asked to do a video for a Facebook group, and that group would be good gracious, the Creative Tartanite Tribe, okay, on Facebook, and there will be a link in the description box below. And this is a challenge video for the month of August, in which we ask members of the group to, if they want to participate, if they can participate, to go ahead and do a challenge piece and show us what they did. And we like for that to be hashtagged, just saying, because it's true. You know, I am a creative tartanite, okay? And I like the hashtag Tartanite Tribe myself personally, just saying. So that's what we're doing. And I'm using scraps, and the backgrounds that I'm working with are jelly prints. We're not doing jelly prints. We're just using existing backgrounds. Okay. Now, I love the seahorse, and I wanted the seahorse, but my die, cuts the insides out. So I'm just tracing around him because, that's going to be my back. Yes, I could piece all the little pieces in there, but I still want a background. Just saying. That's because it's it. And then the little fish that I stamped are some that I hand carved, I don't know, 100 years ago or something. I still like them. Just saying, because, they're cute. One goes one way and one goes the other. And for my die, I'm going to just flip one upside down because, you can do that if you want to. So, decided I'm going to paint my white cardstock turquoise. I'm the artist, and I can change my mind if I want to. So, I did. Did it. So, a little bit about the group. I am a member of the group on the Facebooks, and it's for creatives. It's a non-judgmental group, so there's a whole lot of kindness going on there. And any arts or people, creatives, are welcome. Crochet, knit, quilt. What's that one where you tie the strings together? Oh, for heaven's sakes, y'all know what I mean. I can't think of what it's called. Macrame, that's what it's called, macrame. And drawing and painting and just all kinds of stuff. So any hoodles, there's that. Now here we're going to take some, this is just a recycled box that I got from the post office, or got stuff in from the post office, I should say. And it's not quite thin enough for my cutter blade to go through. So I'm just cutting the one side, and then I'm going to trim it with the scissors, and it will be fine because this is a layer that you're not going to see because we were just doing prep work in the beginning. And I show you how I did two. They're the same. Well, they're not the same, but they're the same kind of project, okay? So the first ones, everything's pretty much sped up, or we'd be here for like 500 hours, and ain't nobody got time for that. So we're just cutting the strips. All right, we've got a top and a bottom. Now we're going to cut the top, and we're going to turn that into a frame. And I'm like, what size do I use? Y'all, I am an eyeballer. That means I guesstimate with my eyesight. You don't have to do that. You want to be a measurer with a real ruler and not just use it for a straight line like I do? By all means, measure your heart away. All right. I'm like, yep, that all looks pretty good. And I thought, well, I need to punch a little hole. And I get that out, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with that little teeny tiny hole? No, get the hole punch out, girl. So we punch a good hole, and we put it, because we're cutting a frame, so we want it inside that there, the pencil line, towards the middle. And then we can get our scissors in there and trim that out with our scissors. You have a die to do that? Perfect. Use that. Okay? Okay. You don't have a hole punch? Well, you could just poke a hole in there with your scissors and then trim over to the side and cut it out. Because you want it kind of somewhat straight. I mean, sort of. Doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. We're not doing perfect here, all right? So now we've got our little side thickness things that we're going to glue on, because we want to just bump up that frame just ever so slightly. All right. And so we've got our glue going on. I'm using wet glue. You don't want to use wet glue? Okay. Use double-sided tape. It's just plain out options, y'all. Just use what you got. There's no reason to go out and get, stuff other people have. Use what you have. Use your own product. Get to know it. Become friends and junk like that. It's my favorite glue. In case you didn't know that. Some of you already know that. Now everybody knows it. Okay, so that's good. Now what are we going to do? Oh, we got our straw. I'm using a paper straw, y'all, because I have them, so I'm using them. Right, and I'm cutting that to about mostly more or less to the width of that part of the frame. Now I'm going to line up Seahorse, and I'm going to put them side by side and see if that they go more or less past each other. Yep, that'll be all right. It'll be all right, y'all. So we're going to glue that on. And then we're going to glue the other little piece of a straw on. Like I said, you want to measure, feel free to measure, okay? Perfection's not quite my thing. I do piddle fart around with details sometimes, and I can't explain why I do that sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes it's appropriate, I guess. Anywho, I'm so glad each and every one of you is here. I appreciate your time. Just lining those up more or less so that they're kind of in a straightish sort of line. Not measuring. It's just a straight line ruler, y'all. Now you can see the straw and the gap that's in there because it's a straw, y'all. Now we're going to measure out for our little reinforcement pieces to go in between there. We're bumping it up because we're using a straw. All right? You don't have, say you don't have some of this little thin corrugated box. Use cereal box if you want to. Double up some cardstock or something like that. I use cardstock. It's my favorite. I do have watercolor paper, but I keep coming back to the cardstock because it's inexpensive. And if I mess it up, I'm not really messing up much money, so it's okay. That's how I'm looking at it. So, truly. So we're just gluing our little filler pieces in there. Like I said, nothing precise. Okay. All right. Now we got that. That's our frame. Okay. Now let's, what are we going to work on? Our background or the seahorse? Oh, here's a tip for you. After you paint stuff like that, wiggle it around on the surface you have it on, or better yet, use baking parchment paper or silicone mat or your craft mat, something like that. And then you won't have to fight with pulling it back off because it's stuck. Just saying. Just going to use some glue, and we're going to put this on the die cut part. and then we will adhere it onto our scissor fussy cut part, or detail cut, however you want to call it. Check out my fancy tweezer work, y'all. I try so hard to use the tweezers so I can get better at them. You end up with less glue on your fingers, just in case you're wondering the purpose of that. So this one we're going to have face the other way. I could have die cut them from turquoise paper. I'm pretty sure I have some little scraps over there, but you know, we did what we did and decided we'd make it a different color, because we could do that. We're the maker. We can do that. Okay, there we go. This is, believe it or not, it's sped up. Not super duper fast, but it's sped up. The next one will get faster. But if you're on a laptop or a computer, you know, something like that, I don't know if you can do it with mobile devices, you know, cellular phones, but you can click on the little gear and slow down the video, or pause and stop it at wherever you want to. I will sound funny if you speed it up or slow it down. Okay, funnier than normal, because it'll make me sound funnier than normal. Now I have this little die over there, and I cut out some fish bones, because I always like the fish bones. I just like them, y'all. Don't know why, I just like them. So we're going to glue that on there, and I laid my frame on top so I can kind of, because I want it kind of in the visible portion, but not, it doesn't have to be all the way in. Like the little goldfish that aren't as pretty as I anticipated them to have come out, but there you go. Not everything is beautimous all the time. Sometimes it can just be okay, because the purpose of this is fun and movement. All right. Okay, so we got a background. Now we got fish on top. That's layer. Okay. And I'm going to put some matte medium on just to make sure I got all the little edges sealed up of my fish, okay, and my bony fish. Okay, set that aside to dry. Now what are we going to do? Oh, getting the seahorses. I'm going to cut some strips to put on their backs. Little skinny strips, you know, because I don't want them necessarily visible from the front. We'll glue them on the back. It'll be okay. We can trim off little bits if we need to. Just be careful, don't cut your tails off. It'd be terrible. I have to retrace and recut that one out again. Goodness gracious. Okay, see, we're going to put the strip on the back. Okay. So, moving along. I hope my voiceover stays in sync, y'all. It's annoyingly funny. I want 3 times my length just because I want to make sure I have plenty of string, y'all. You want to make sure you have plenty of string. And I'm using crochet cotton thread. It's mostly what I have, so that's usually what I use. I buy books with it and everything. I have some wax linen, but I do tend to use my crochet cotton thread. I have it, y'all. It's very economical, especially when you buy it on clearance or at your charity shop or something like that. So we've got our string more or less guesstimated in the middle, and we have put glue on the back of the seahorse, on the wrong side of the seahorse, and now we're going to sandwich the string between the seahorse and that little strip of cardstock. And we're going to do it again, just in case you missed it the first time. Doing it again. And if you need to clamp at this stage, you can clamp. I didn't particularly need to right now this time, so I didn't. Got just a little bit sticking out, so I'm trimming it off. Being careful with my strings, because I don't want to cut those. But if I did, then I would just have to put a new string on. Now we're going to put some little eyes on these little things. Y'all, I like seahorses. I've always been attracted to seahorses. You know, they're really tiny little creatures. And the male is the one that takes care of the babies. I know. So we're going to string our string through both pieces of the straw so that our seahorse, or whatever item you decide, is in between the two straws. Now on the smaller pieces, it's probably better to keep it to one thing, but some of y'all may know me. I like to do more sometimes. I do things backwards sometimes because I'm special like that. Turn around. Okay. So now we got them lined up, and now we're going to put our background on. Oh, it's not dry. Hickin', y'all. Remember, we put the matte medium on there. We want to make sure that's pretty good and dry. Pretty good and dry. Okay. It really doesn't matter as long as they stay strung up. And really, you can put your back on and then run the string through the straw as long as you don't get your straw opening glued shut or your string glued down. You should be all right. Should be an operative word. Now sometimes this kind of a project takes some thinking, because sometimes you got to if, and, or buts. Okay, well, if I do this and then I got to do that, well, what if I do this? Oh, but wait. Okay, just saying. So sometimes you got to think about stuff one step at a time. Now we got our two separate strings for our two separate seahorses. I'm going to weight that down, and then I'm going to go take a break for a minute, and then when I come back, I've got some beads. I'm pulling my seahorse all the way to the bottom, and then I let him go and pulled him back up to the top, y'all. Anyway, when you're working on the top part, and I'm using beads, so I'm tying knots so that my beads kind of stay in place. Kind of being an operative word. And so we got a couple knots in there, and we put our bead on, and now we're going to tie a couple knots on top of the bead so that it more or less stays in place. Okay. And yes, I am quite sure there are dozens of other ways to do this. Just saying. See? Bead. And I'm going to do that for all four of the strings. You just kind of want to make sure you've got your seahorse in the down position before you put the bead on there, because the bead acts as a stopping point. Okay. I know I do it ad nauseum. It's like, you really could have sped up more of the video, but I probably say that every video I do. I could have sped it up. I could have cut it out. But that's just how it is. So, yeah, pull that up a little bit, because this is, the bead acts as the stopping point. Because this is our moving layer, y'all. Smaller pieces, it's probably better to do just one moving thing. But, like I already said, sometimes I like more. Now, you don't want it to go up and down like an elevator. You want it to go side to side, like I don't know what goes side to side. Swing, like a swing. You could do that. You could go side to side. Although on this small of an item, you wouldn't get much movement on side to side. This is more or less a large tag size. I didn't measure. Well, I did measure, but I think it's like about a 4x6 size, something like that. Okay. Okay, so we've gotten our bead. We're doing our final little string down there. But wait, there'll be more. Oh. Okay, trying to tie a knot so that they all clump up together, y'all. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Remember, the first one you make is always probably going to be the hardest one. So be gentle with yourself. The point is to have fun, okay? and to be entertained by your journey, okay? Which I believe is one of the things that's on the Facebook group, y'all, which is Creative Tart Night Tribe, is creativity is the journey, not the destination. And I think that's just so smart, because that's what I believe. I believe you should be happy doing what you're doing. Don't be stressing about it. Just let that stress go and have fun with it. Now I decided I needed something just a little bit more hefty than those little tiny beads. I don't know the size of the beads, y'all. They're beads that fit on the string, okay? So I thought, well, I'll just get some buttons and we'll just tie some buttons on there, and they'll be a little more substantial to grab a hold of. So we did. We tied them on. Ta-da! And here's the movement. Oh, that one stuck out. And up and down and up and down. Woohoo! The seahorses are swimming. Okay, moving on, we're going to do a card front. So it's bigger than the tag size. And again, we're going to use some deli printed cardstock, because I like cardstock. I know I said it, but sometimes I repeat things because I have to fill the air time with my words. Okay? I'm trying to get my measurements in my head for what size I want, and I hope I get it worked out, and I think I did okay. So there we go, two of the same size. Now I'm going to draw out from a frame. Again, I'm not measuring. I'm just like, yep, that looks, yeah, that's pretty close. That's fine. That'll work. But it's okay to measure if you want to. And that one looked crooked, so I'm going back over that part. I don't know, it looked crooked. I don't know that it was. And again, we're punching the hole. Now this one's sped up faster, but it's gonna be the same process, y'all. Cutting out the inside, so we have our frame. And no, your frame doesn't have to be like the background. No, it doesn't. Sure doesn't. And I was checking to make sure it's going to fit on my card base, because this one's going to be a greeting card. And because I have a wider frame, I want to make just a wee bit wider of the bumping up cardboard stuff there. Yep, that'll fit. So that's what we'll do. And hopefully you can tell it's sped up even more faster. This video, I'm pretty sure, is over 30 minutes. I don't think it's 45, y'all. But in any case, you can pause and come back and watch more later. Watch again later. And you can stop it wherever you need to stop it, or speed it up even more. Okay, so we're going to glue that down. Now, you can't see these from the front as long as it's smaller than your frame. You'll be fine. So that's our actual background. On this one, we're going to stamp. So I'm like, where's my frame at? So I made some little marks underneath the frame with a pencil. And I got a little foam, that's just a fun foam pad thingy. We're going to stamp there, and we're going to stamp a second flower, but I want it slightly different, so I'm making it shorter and just a little different of an angle. No big deal. This whole thing about this challenge, no big deal. Make it fun. Use your imagination. That is your only limitation, is your imagination. Okay, y'all? The sky is not the limit. Your imagination is the limit. Your ideas and dreams, be anything. So I'm painting over the stamp, and I'm tapping it off with my fingertips so I can lift some of the paint up, because I don't want it totally opaque. I just want a little color on there. And I'm using the same colors that I'm used for the flowers, sorta. I mean, pink and denim blue. Here's some green that needed help to get open with the nutcracker there. Those work pretty good for me. Just painted them on the little leaf parts. Here you come, y'all. Because now I want to dry it. Hurry up and dry it. Hurry up. And I got a little dragonfly. And sometimes I get a little stamp happy. I'm like, oh, I love that one. I'm going to do it again. Oh, it fell off the thing. Oh, darn. Put another. You know, more's not always better, but I almost always do more. Nope, the big one's way too big. So we'll use the medium and the small one. And that's just a die cut circle and then a die cut flower that had a trim edge around it that I cut off because I'm like, I don't want that part. So you can make your own flowers up, even from your die cuts and your punches. You can use punches if you want to. So we just layered them up. Now I'm going to use a different color crochet cotton thread. This one happens to be white. I thought it disappeared more. You can also color these, dye them with sprays or inks or dyes. You know, like you do seam binding. So I want ribbon. I want a ribbon stem. So I'm putting my string on the back, then my ribbon, then the flower. Is that what I did? Now I got to look because I wasn't looking. I blanked. Got our string. Here's our ribbon for our stem, and there's our flower on top. Okay, because I want the ribbon stem, y'all. Was trying to be fancy. Did it work? It worked okay. Is it the bestest ever? It worked okay. Okay. Now put one there because I'm just going to try to line up for my straws because I'm going to use the paper straws again because that is just such a wonderful idea to use paper straws. I got mine because I know somebody's probably going to ask. Mine came from Tuesday morning. Some Tuesday mornings have closed, you know, way back over the COVID thing or the current COVID thing, depending, yeah. Stuff happens. And again, I'm just lining them up just to more or less get them parallel across from each other. And this will be another up and down piece. And we're going to fill in our little segments down there. Okay. It is going faster. Can you tell? Are you having a good time? Are you going to do the challenge? And all of you people that are not in the group, you're more than welcome to do the challenge too. Let me see your creations, okay? Just use hashtag moving layer, okay? Okay? On whatever platform. I'm not on every platform, but I'm on a few. I'm on some of them. Now I'm going to do the same thing. You can put your beads or buttons, whatever, on here before you put the back on. That's perfectly fine. Trimming my ribbon because I want it glued to. I'm like, oh, I want to glue that to the front. Darn it! Now I got to flip it upside down. Y'all just wait. There's another little faux pas on this one because you know it happens. Even when you think you thunk it out all right. It still can happen. Trimming that off. Don't cut the string, just the ribbon. Okay, still got my 4 ends. Okay. And we're going to glue the back on. I wish I put the beads on there before I glued the back on so y'all could see me doing it that way. But y'all get the point. Y'all smart people. Okay. Weighting it down. Then I went inside the house and went to bed. Went to bed because it was nighttime. Now it's next day. Okay. All right. Everything's all nice and happily smooshed and married and glued together. Time for the beads. These are just little plastic beads. Sometimes I buy experienced jewelry bits from the secondhand store, and sometimes they come in bottles of all kinds of crap jewelry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It is crap jewelry, y'all. And I wash them and I cut them apart, and if I think it's something I'm going to use, I keep it. If I think it's something I'm not going to use but it is usable, I put it back in the donation box and give it back to them. Okay? That's what I do. If it's really trash, y'all, it's going to get either trashed or recycled, depending on if it's recyclable. That's just how I am. So we're tying our beads on. Now, I didn't pay as much attention this time to having my flowers in the upward position, okay, or the downward position before I adhered my beads. I'm just going to tell you the faux pas straight up. I spend 2 hours untying knots. No, not 2 hours. It only felt like 2 hours. You will see that part because I didn't cut it out. And you're saying, oh, APG, I wished you had cut it out. No. I wanted you to see it. I'm like, it's important for y'all to see me struggle with untying knots. Now, really, I could totally cut the string off and do a whole nother string and glue another piece of cardstock between the flower and the string. Okay? That would have probably been easier. But I didn't do that. So here we're going to get some buttons, and I have these flower buttons, and so I'm using them. Oh, sometimes you can find paper straws anymore because of the whole recycle thing, you know. But then, really, in my opinion, it's just an opinion, y'all. Don't shoot me. It's kind of silly to have paper straws so they can be recycled and melt down in the landfill or whatever, and then you put them in a piece of plastic. That's just silly. We also use mostly the metal straws. You can get metal straws that can be washed and are ran through the dishwasher, just saying. So we're tying on some buttons, and it will be after this when I'm showing y'all, oh, look how it moves. Oh, well, we still got another 20 minutes to go. Like I said, the video is over 30 minutes, and you are free to, and if you don't like to hear me yammer on, you can certainly turn the sound off as well. Just so you know. Okay? Keep going. It's a fun project, y'all. Oh, that's the one. It's like, no, it won't go any higher. No! So I got a little straight pin over there, and I'm picking at the knots. I don't know. I thought it would be easier to untie than it was. I would not let little kids play with this because, you know how really little kids will, you know, pick at stuff. You don't want them choking on none of this stuff because them buttons could just be the way wrong size for them to swallow and choke. Just saying, that's just my great Nana, you know, disclaimer there. And all in all, they didn't really take that long to make. And the more you make, the faster you get. Just throwing that out there. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! See how the stem grows up with the flowers? So I've got these. I collect words as a poet. I'm a poet as well, and I collect words, and I fill up a Word document, and then I change the fonts around, and I print them out. Because that's what I do. I'm a poet, and we collect words and sayings and phrases and quotes and all kinds of stuff. Here it goes. Oh, the little short flowers. It's gonna grow up. Growing up. Yay, the garden grows. Here's our little seahorses in the ocean. Okay, let's float around. And float around. Yeah. These are so fun. You can put that on a card front as well. You can glue it in a journal. Okay. You could, you could just do whatever you want to do. So now we're going to put our card together, because remember that the one with the flowers is a greeting card. And that's just my stamp with my name on it. It says APT Jamie, because that's who I am. That's who you're watching. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Comes out of the ATG machine, Advanced Tape Glider. We almost always call it an ATG gun. I don't know why, because you got to pull the trigger to make it work right. And I'm just centering that up, mostly sort of as best as I could. Y'all know, no perfection here. Here we go. How does your garden grow? Okay. Ta-da, ta-da. And I believe it'll go through the mail just fine. And I went ahead and stuck that photo montage, the larger flower on the inside of the card. And y'all, this is fun. And the challenge is for you to make a moving layer. Okay? Fish, flowers, birds, butterflies, peoples, word quotes up and down or side to side, your choice. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.